in the ACC. Another transfer, a swap, I would say here, between Notre Dame and UVA, as former Notre Dame wide receiver Jayden Thomas is transferring to Charlottesville. And this is a guy who played a lot of football at Notre Dame, 43 games played in his career. As a sophomore, started 7 of 13 games for Notre Dame, has 7 career touchdowns for the Fighting Irish. And there was a bit of a swap here because earlier in the cycle, of course, Malachi Fields, a big body receiver, transferred from Virginia to Notre Dame. But if you're Virginia, you have to feel pretty good about this one here. And a guy who, look, by the numbers is not going to blow you away, but was a trusted player for this Notre Dame team, played in all 16 games during this run. And let me tell you, he scored in the game against Indiana, so you can't say this guy didn't contribute along the way.
Yeah, it's an interesting trade, and not officially a trade, but you got Malachi Fields going from Virginia to Notre Dame. Then Jayden Thomas goes to UVA, and look, let's be honest about what's going on here. Notre Dame just played in the national championship game. They're going to be able to acquire talent at a higher level than what you see in the ACC. So that is why they probably got the more dynamic end of that trade with Malachi Fields' ability to win catches downfield. But Jayden Thomas is somebody who he was just playing in the championship game, right? Playing a meaningful role in that playoff run. He can certainly play in the ACC and make an impact. A guy who's look at the stats, 64 catches, over 800 yards in his career. So he's caught the ball in big games, but he's a very willing blocker, a team player, somebody who's unselfish, and somebody who has that size at 6'2", 220 almost. He's really more like he's almost a tight end, and you see him blocking for Jeremiah Love. You see him blocking on these screens on top of catching the ball. So he's not just, hey, let's throw him the football. Though, of course, one of the reasons he transferred to Virginia was to get that opportunity to catch the ball. But this guy can help your team in a lot of ways. He brings a lot of maturity to the room, a lot of experience, and I think he's going to elevate a Virginia team that quietly has done some pretty interesting things in the transfer portal. They got another guy who played in that championship game, getting Ohio State linebacker Mitchell Melton. They got Chandler Morris from North Texas at quarterback. We did a video on him back when he went to Virginia. Highly, highly productive player coming out of a lot of schools, but most recently North Texas, where he really blew up. They got Monroe Mills, offensive tackle from Louisville, 91 grade transfer, according to 247, someone we saw up close who is very impressive. He's definitely going to be an upper tier, already is an upper tier ACC offensive tackle. Cam Ross from James Madison, productive guy making the move up. So a lot to like about the Virginia class. And with Jayden Thomas, it's the experience, the size, and I think those stats, right now Malachi Fields' stats compared to Thomas's stats are much higher. I do think you'll see Thomas produce more now that he has more of a central role on a ball club, catching passes from one of the most prolific quarterbacks in the country last year, Chandler Morris.
Yeah, and you saw the tweet there from Tyler Horka, who is Notre Dame football for On3, saying it's a win-win for both of these guys. It's a win for the Fighting Irish to get Fields, and a win for Jayden Thomas to go somewhere where he's more needed, which is exactly what you were just saying.
Yeah, this is the portal at its best, right? The portal has a lot of negatives to it, but I think where it's at its best is a guy like Thomas. He contributed to a great Notre Dame team, a great season, did his part, played, was unselfish, was a good teammate. Now he says, I've graduated. Appreciate you guys. You guys are obviously moving on. You got Fields coming in. You got Greathouse coming back. You got Faison coming back. I mean, you got plenty of guys that you can go to with, can get the football to. So I will move on with my head held high to a team that is still going to compete at a high level in the ACC, and that can get me the football and allow me to show more of what I can do than I did in my 43 games at Notre Dame.